YouTube, it is I, Sakarma, coming to you with a little bit of 1v1 action, a total Brohammer here. I myself am head of the Toon Kings, and I'm facing off against God of Gobos, not to be confused with the Gobbo King, a different person entirely, but God of Gobos is a good player in his own right, and he's heading Norsca. I've played him a few times. I think he's somewhere high up on the leaderboard. So yeah, this is a fun little battle, and I think you'll want to keep an eye on King Kong over here, the bowman King Kong, the sentient King Kong. King Kong who's learned how to take, use of tools and is more terrifying because of it. And I like his armor. What is his armor value? 80. Jesus. Anyways, yeah, I like it. I love the way he looks. He's got big old teeth. He's got a little beard bangle in there. But really, what I want to notice here, is Ark in the Black. So not my favorite Tomb King Lord. Of course, that belongs to GHK. But this guy's hat game is on point. He's got, first of all, he's got a giant hat. It's a cool looking hat. Everyone loves that hat. But more importantly, notice that there's little skulls in his hat that then the top of the hat serves as a meta hat. So this guy's got a meta hat. It's a hat on a hat. Like, not like the expression, but literally a hat and a hat. And then beyond that, he's got a banner with a skull that has two skulls swinging from there near his hat. I mean, this guy, whew. Let it never be said that Arkin does not have top hat game. He might be Marcus Solenash Arkin, because that is pretty excessive. But meanwhile, let's get to the builds, because, I mean, hat game notwithstanding, you guys are here to see some fighting. So I forgot to move my Tomb Guard. I pressed ready up, and I was like, okay, ready to go, and I just forgot them over there, so that was a silly mistake, but they'll make it back in time. Meanwhile, my composition of my army here is, let's take a look at it. So, front line of Skeleton Warriors, 1, 2, 3, I want to say. It's hard to tell because the banners, CA, are all the same. Please change the banners. So I've got a front line of Skeleton Warriors, just to soak up the charge. Some Tomb Guard in the back, more Skeleton Warriors. I've got, I think, Tomb Guard, maybe just the one. Yeah, one Tomb Guard. Got some Skeleton Spearmen in the back line here. Halberds on either flank of my archers, one of them being the fucked variety. I think these guys must be. Yep. Got a Bone Giant, of course, King Kong, flanked by the archers. I've got the Blessed Legion of King the Hex, Scorpion Legion, somewhere in there, right there. And then, of course, I've got the Kepler Guard. Very good units. And then Ark in the Black, I brought with him not Fate of Buna. Please never bring Fate of Buna. It's a lame spell. It makes the game more boring. But, I mean, listen, if it makes you have fun, who am I to say? You know what? I take it back. I'm not a big fan of it. But I think it makes the game a little bit worse. But we're all entitled to our own opinion. Soul Blight here to lower armor, to help my Tomb Guards fight. I have Doom and Darkness to try and crowd some mass routes. And then, of course, Spirit Leech, in case he had brought non-Throg, namely Wolfric the Wanderer. And he did not. So the Spirit Leech is going to be pretty useless. But it's a pretty cheap spell to bring. Anyway, so that's my composition. My opponent, meanwhile, has brought some Marauders with great weapons. I'm not really sure. I guess to deal with Scorpions, I'll do a little bit of damage to Scorpions, but I'm not really sure why great weapons. But he's brought a couple on either flank. Marauder Champions, very good unit, obviously in this matchup. They have high armor, and they're going to trade well against the Tomb Kings. What is their armor, these guys? 80, so they're doing pretty well against Tomb Guard. They have higher armor and, pretty decent stats, 36, 53 versus, where are the Tomb Guard here? 32, 41, yeah. So they're going to do better than Tomb Guard. So yeah, just a good unit overall. Of course they are more expensive, but that makes sense. Fimir great weapons, very good unit to deal with constructs. He's got 2 of them. He's got a Spearman in the background. He's got Fimir Balefiend of Fire, very good unit, of course, in this matchup to deal with chaff. He's got a Skinwolf Werekin and a Throg. And I think that about does it. I thought he had the Moss of Savagery somewhere. Maybe not, I lied. Okay, so no Moss of Savagery. So let's get this battle on the road. Start off the bat. He's moving, but we're going to see some serious damage here coming. He just smokes that Balefiend. Remember, the Balefiend is a large unit. I was told, I was informed myself that if you can look over there, that tells how many unit size. That's, of course, Ark in the Black. But yeah, so I'm going to Spirit Leech him. I'm going to hit him with the Bone Giant, and we're just going to do some devastating damage. That one whiffs, but still, not a bad little target. I mean, he's already down almost a third of his health, I want to say. A quarter to a third. Yeah, so we're just going to keep aiming at him. Meanwhile, my opponent here is coming balls out. He's trying to get us another giant hit. So we're really eliminating his caster right off the bat. This guy, of course, you can just throw away because he heals so quick and he's so fast. He's such a good unit. Probably one of the better heroes, melee heroes in the game. He's just so fast. He has those heals. He has an anti-large. He has pretty decent combat stats. I mean, these bows are stupid. There's no reason to shoot him with these arrows. We're just literally wasting it right now. I cast the the new and debuffed Tomb Blade, but it's still not bad. Although the problem with the new Tomb Blade, and I think CA should change this, is that it only recharges when he's in battle. He has to be engaged immediately for it to recharge. So I find I'm only getting like 2 or 3 per game. I've played a couple matches with Arkin. I get like maybe 2 or 3. So yeah, that's something worth noting. He's not obviously not a melee lord, so it's kind of a silly ability. Like either give him like 3, so you can just cast them whenever. Don't give him 5, but make him have to fight for them. It's kind of strange. And there's also no way to heal Arkin too, other than passive. So yeah, I'm not really sure what they were thinking there, but it's still a good ability. Has its uses. So here we go. So we're fighting off. We're shooting at Throg. He's gonna get a burning head in here. I think I'm gonna see it. And I'm gonna try and move. I am gonna see it. I'm gonna try and move, but it does sort of get another steam, but doesn't quite get the best angle. Of course, it does go on forever, so it's gonna keep going around. This mistake I made though, because he sort of made me panic and move my lines, I'm moving everything into here, and that's gonna set him up later on nicely for later on in the game. Meanwhile, I'm trying to get Arkin here and do some damage, trying to heal use his ability a second time. The Tomb Guard have finally come back here, so that was a little bit of a mistake. Meanwhile, this Bone Giant still trying to shoot off or try to kill Fimir Balefiend, but what can you do? I am going to send him in here to engage a little bit of melee attack just to slow him down. He's going to get smoked by Throg, but he's going to allow my Skeleton Archers to escape. And of course, if I get him surrounded with the Tomb Guard and the Bone Giant Skeleton Archers, it'll be bad news for him. But while I'm microing over there, I'm going to try and get a rear charge with Arkin the Black. That will prove to be a terrible mistake for me. It does do decent damage, but not enough. And he's going to get his Skinwolf Werewolf right on Arkin. That's going to be bad news for me. But over here, I'm aggressively trying to micro here. You can see a huge hit from the Bone Giant immediately. Not a slouch immediately, anyway, but this is where shit gets real. So we see a manifestation of a burning head. Let's look at all the health on all these units before. And we'll just see this guy just come through. Oh my god, terrifying. He's just going to eat all these skeletons for lunch. Just burn right through them. Oh, Jesus Christ. Awful, awful, awful. So let's get it back in regular mode. And you're going to see, oh geez, just tons of damage across those whole lines. The Kepler Guard especially, that was devastating. And he just eliminated like 3 or 4 units there, or equivalent. So very, very good on him. But it is going to proc a lot of our heals. That's good. But over here, Throg is getting beat up by the Bone Giant. I mean, the Halberds with their armor-piercing anti-large. Of course, the Bone Giant has really high stats in terms of damage. 400 armor-piercing. Melee attack isn't great, but every time he does hit will be pretty devastating. And we're actually able to get rid of Throg. Unfortunately, over here, he killed Arkin. Arkin got caught by these Fimir Balefiends. He got caught by the other Balefiend. And he got caught by the Skinwolf Werewolf. So that was the end of Arkin. So we traded lords. His lord, of course, can come back and can heal, but I'm going to make sure he gets routed off with the Bone Giant. I'm going to shoot him in the back as he flees. So I lost my lord, he lost his lord. Only problem is, my lord is also my spellcaster, and I had a lot of magic left. So that's unfortunate. But you can see here, just shoots him right in the back, just devastating, right through, actually through his chest. So Throg is having a bad day, but that's just to make sure he does not come back. So if he does, of course, he can heal all the way back up to nearly full, and that will be devastating for my army. He does pull these Marauder Champions in the background, but I'm going to put Tomb Guards against them. Not a bad fight for them. Obviously not the highest weapon strength or melee attack, and these guys have very high melee attack, but they have quite high melee defense, so actually it's a pretty bad fight for them. But with the help of this archers, they'll be okay. Throg, I'm making sure he's not going to come back. This might be the kill shot, we'll see. I don't remember if I kill him or not. No, that was a whiff. That was a miss, but he's damaged enough that he's not coming back, so that's fine with me. Over here in the front line, even though he did a lot of damage to these guys, they're still holding. They did get that heal, so that was good, but it did a ton of damage. It was a very, very good cast of my opponent. And now he's going to bring his Werewolf, Werkin back in the battle, and that's going to be very difficult for me to deal with. But we are getting good damage on these Marauder Champions. I am going to start sniping out his Werkin. Of course, he can't heal. Does a ton of damage, but again, unfortunately, he can just heal that right back up. He does bump that skeleton out of nowhere. He's going to try and bring him and fight the Bone Giant, but again, not the greatest fight. He's going to do a lot of damage when he gets in here, and he's going to get shot to shit by these archers. Instead, he's going to, but he does have the anti-large, but the Bone Giant, King Kong just sends him flying, smokes him with his bow, and look how far back he went, and then he shoots him. Oh, he missed, but that was pretty gangster. I mean, that was pretty hardcore. You don't want to fuck with the Bone Giant, is the lesson here. Meanwhile, on the left flank, we're doing okay. A lot of Marauder Champions, but they're not going to kill my units with any sort of speed, any sort of rapidity. They're just going to sort of trade in a atrocious battle. The Kepler Guard, of course, are healing, but now they're fighting Balefiends, not the best. But we do have King Hex Scorpion Legion in there, so that's good for them, and they'll be able to do some good damage on those Balefiends. We are trying to kill this guy, but of course he'll just heal it up and run away, because his speed is like 70-something, 81, ridiculous. So it's going to be very difficult for me to get rid of him. Instead, I'm going to start firing at these Balefiends. Just, they don't heal, and they're bigger targets, so King Kong, the sniper, has now decided to set his sights on units that really I'm more afraid of. I mean, the Werkin, he's going to be a harass unit, he's going to be dangerous, but he's not going to be the most dangerous. Definitely the Fimir the Fimir Warriors, rather, are far more worrying. Guys, I'm sorry, I always say Fimir Balefiends, and I always mean Fimir Warriors. I apologize. Yeah, you've seen that in a lot of videos by now. I gotta get that right. So we're going to start firing into these Fimir warriors. There you go. That time I did it right. And then we get a nice shot in there doing a lot of damage. Again, sending them back. My units, of course, are unbreakable, so that's good for us. Some of the units are starting to shatter. The modern champions are doing pretty well, but these guys are in fights they don't want to be in. They're being shot by King the Hexscorpion Legion. They're being, they're being stabbed by King the Hexscorpion Legion, rather, and they're being shot by the Blessed Legion of Fucked. So it's all looking good for me. He's going to send this werewolf in here again, the werewolf, let's call him the werewolf, in here again to do some harass, but it's not going to be the greatest. He's only going to get a little bit of damage, and then we're going to surround him with these Tomb Guard, and his armor isn't crazy high at 58, especially while being fucked. So yeah, that's a really good matchup for us. And then we just do a laser beam right through. It does get some of our archers, but who cares? Those are the regular archers. They're skeletons. Pardon me. We'll collect their souls and we'll put them in some other bones later. We can deal with that later. You know, that's a problem for a different day. These Fimir great weapons are going to come back, but their leadership is very, very low. We are trying to get rid of this guy. He's almost routing. In fact, he is routing. But you know, he has a ton of health left to heal up. And we are going to try and surround him and get some damage as he tries to rout, but of course he does have pretty good mass, and just so fast he's going to get right out there. Whoa, I think that was King Kong who just screamed. Homies, for real. And we're going to get a nice shot in these Fimir Bellefiends down the way. Actually, we miss, or maybe it was these ones, but yeah, we're going to put the rest of our shots into these Fimir, try and get rid of them. Fimir Warriors, rather, sorry. I think it's his last volley here. Last shot, let's see how it does. So he's going to get a nice shot and pretty much wipe out the rest of that unit and do a little bit of damage on that one, so really good shot. And yeah, they're ready to get out of here. And these guys are fighting the Tomb Guard with halberds. Not a good battle for them. So yeah, the balance bar is very, very even. He does still have his caster, and he does still have the Skinwolf Werekin. But really, it's you know, the balance bar, as we all know, is fake news. I am running out of arrows, but at this point, it's kind of there's not a whole lot he can do to bring down the giant. That's really the end of the game. Is he can't bring down the giant. I think he's going to cast a Burning Head here. I don't know if what other spells did he bring with this guy besides Burning Head? Just Burning Head and then Flame of Wrath and Ruin. The Sword of Flame and Burning, and Cascading Fire Cloak. So a couple of good spells, but not sure that was the greatest use of the Fire Head. It did do damage to the King the Hexscorpion Legion, so that wasn't bad, but also did some damage to his Martyr Spearmen. These guys are out of arrows, so yeah, these Martyr Champions, we'll chop them up, but I'm fine with that. But you can see here, the Werekin just can't get that much damage done on the Bone Giant, especially when he's surrounded by all these troops and all this chaff. And every time he takes a hit, it's just devastating. So my opponent's going to try some fancy maneuvers. He's going to try and, you know, fight it out, but it's all for naught. There's not a whole lot I can do to King Kong. King Kong, the bowed King Kong. The bow-armed King Kong is just a devastating unit. He's going to come in here. He's going to try and, you know, do some rear attacks on these guys. They do have really high melee defense, but, yeah, he'll be all right. Clean up some of my units over there, but yeah, and then his Werekin, of course, will come back, as the Werekin don't do, just being a nuisance. He's going to try and surround me. I do have King the Hexscorpion Legion here, and they're going to do well. But yeah, I was scared he might get like another Burning Head on me if he gets all my units together, but even if he did get a Burning Head, I'm pretty sure the Bone Giant could finish off the remainder of his army. You can just see, even the battle they're trading, they're trading pretty evenly, even though he's not really a melee unit. He's very much meant to just sort of, you know, shoot things. But yeah, my opponent's going to run around. He's going to try and be sneaky, but it's, again, all for naught. So let's just see how this goes. It's like a Benny Hill sketch. I'm definitely the first person to do the Benny Hill sketch joke. But yeah, so we get him there, and some large, and finally the rout occurs, and that'll be it. Murder, she wrote. Murder, she wrote. Murder, she wrote. For Claw of Gobbo, God of Gobbos. And yeah, so the Tomb Kings emerge victorious. So the Bone Giant is 2 chevrons. The guy is out of control. He can do armor-piercing anti-large, ranged, very accurate, as we saw. He can snipe out lords or casters or hero units or anything like that along those lines. And in melee, he's no joke. 400 armor piercing, and off of the price of 1,600, he's a very, very good unit. I mean, the last thing the Tomb Kings needed was another great unit, and they got one in the Bone Giant, I think. I think the Bone Giant is not necessarily a must-bring, but a very good unit in a lot of matchups, especially when you're expecting Monster Mash. I mean, the factions that do best against Tomb Kings, like Chaos, like Norsca, I would argue, and if in the factions along those lines, you generally have to go monster on monster. You know, mono-y-mono, but monster-y-monster, like the Fimir great weapons. But with this guy in there, I mean, it's difficult. It's a trickier situation, just because he can fire. And then you saw he was like a one-man army protecting these 2 backline archers. So not only can he destroy things from far away, he can be a very protective presence for the Blessed Legion of Fucked and the Skeleton Archers. So a good unit. I think a very, very effective unit. King Kong is no joke. He's a very, very strong addition to to the roster of the Tomb Kings. Of course, I didn't get a lot of action with Ark in the Hat. A hat in a hat. He did not do as great as I would have liked. I sort of lost micro of him as I was killing Throg, so we traded lords there. But yeah, he's a pretty good lord, even without the Tomb Blade. He's still quite effective. And then yeah, everything else did all right. And then his unit, I actually liked his army. I don't think the Marauders with Great Weapons were a good choice, but the Marauder Champion's very, very good pick. I would have traded out some of these guys for maybe just go wider, because you could probably bring like 4 regular Marauders instead, or even a Berserker, and just chop through this chaff much faster. Because these guys are good, but they don't kill chaff particularly quickly, so that might have helped. Of course, Berserkers are a dangerous pick because you might be facing a lot of constructs, which will just slash them apart. Skinwolf Ark and 90 kills, very good on him. He doesn't have any abilities, so that's just murder straight up, so good for him. Anyways, that'll be it for me here, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around the bend.